Hi everybody, Eric Hoffman here, and in this lesson we'll be looking at vocabulary in a section I've called Know the Vocabulary. So our objectives for this section are to learn the day-to-day vocabulary used in the import and export business, and I've divided these into basic terms, shipping terms, payment terms, and price quotes. And I'll get to what all of that means in a second. So first of all, our basic terms that you'll be using regularly and need to know as an agent, a distributor, or just anyone in the import and export business. So our first term is import. Now, you most likely know what that means. It's just bringing products into a country from outside of the country. And to export is the opposite, sending products to another country from your own country. Now, a broker is a person or a company that connects a buyer with a seller. And in these video tutorials, that's what we are looking to do, and to earn a commission off of the deals that result from that relationship. It is your job to create a relationship between the buyer and the seller so that when they close a deal, you will make a percentage off of that deal. An agent is similar to a broker, but an agent is a person who buys or sells on behalf of another person or company in return for a commission. Now, the way that this differs from a broker is an agent works for either the buyer or the seller. The broker is just a middleman who has no relationship with the buyer or seller. So an agent might work for a company to find a supplier for a product they want to buy. Now, a distributor is a company that sells the products of a specific supplier and sells it to a particular region through a particular sales channel. So what does that mean? It means a distributor purchases the products from a company and then has the rights to distribute or sell them to a certain country or a certain state or a certain region or county, or through a particular sales channel, meaning through the internet or strictly offline or whatever the case may be. The distributor buys and takes ownership of the supplier's products. So a broker and an agent don't take any risk by purchasing a product that they may not be able to sell, whereas a distributor purchases the product and then it is his duty or her duty to sell that product themselves. A few more basic terms here. We have a customs broker, and that is a company that streamlines customs clearance. So when a product is brought into a country, customs likes to take a look at it and examine it and ensure that it meets all import requirements before it comes into the country. And there's a lot of paperwork associated with that. And so a customs broker will take care of all that paperwork, tell you exactly what you need, and help you get through customs so your goods can enter a particular country. Now, there are going to be a whole lot of vocabulary words in this presentation, so just bear with me. Just get familiar with them. You don't need to memorize them off the bat, and you'll learn them as you look for buyers, look for sellers, interact with people. They'll come up, you'll remember them, and you'll learn them. Now, a freight forwarder, that's a company that streamlines the exporting and shipping of a product. So if you have a product you want to sell and you have a buyer in another country, you can use a freight forwarder to arrange the shipping of that product to the other country. They will schedule the shipping for you, they will help you with the paperwork, and they will help take care of that. Now, a lot of these are not going to be useful to you as a broker or as an agent, but it's good to know how importing and exporting works. Now, the next term is a duty or tariff. Now, that means the exact same thing, and it's basically a tax imposed on imported products by the government. So, for example, if you want to import teff, which is the Ethiopian grain I imported into the United States, there is a 1% duty on it, or a 1% tariff on it. And I'll show you how to find out what the duty or tax is on any particular product. Quota, that's a limit on the amount of imported goods before they're no longer allowed to be imported or before higher tariffs are put in place. Now, that might sound confusing, but basically, it's just a limit on the amount of a product that can enter the country. Say, for example, 1,000 tons of red lentils before the product is no longer allowed to be imported. So after 1,000 tons of red lentils, and this is just an example, is imported into the United States, you may not import any more, and no company has the right to import any more. That's what a quota is. Or higher tariffs are put in place. So for the first 1,000 tons of lentils imported into the country, they might have a 5% tariff, whereas anything past 1,000 tons will be subject to a 15% tariff. Now, that's just an example. None of that is true. Next, we have shipping and delivery terms. Now, these are the terms that you're going to use when talking about how the product will be delivered from a supplier to a buyer. So the first one is ex works. So when a buyer is given a price, for example, 1,000 tons of sugar, ex works, New Jersey, that means that the product's price does not include any delivery, and the buyer must pick up or pay another company to pick up the goods from the production facility where the supplier works. So the supplier will not touch the goods after they have entered or been processed in their own facility, and it is on the buyer to arrange for shipping or trucking or whatever the means may be. Next, we have free on board. And this means that the price includes the supplier boarding the product on a ship, so placing the product on a ship at whatever port that they mention, and usually it's a port near the supplier, but the buyer will pay for the shipping costs. So the supplier will take whatever the product is, place it on a ship, and that will be the extent of the supplier's responsibility for the product, as well as the cost for delivering it. And the buyer must pay for the cost of shipping it to their own country or port. Now, the next item, CFR or CNF or C&F, these all mean the same thing. They all mean cost and freight. So basically this means that the price includes the product's price, the actual physical product's price, and the cost to ship the product to the buyer's port of choice. So the price includes the 1,000 tons of sugar and the shipping to Mexico or wherever the buyer decides they want the product. Next is CIF, and that's similar to cost and freight, but it is cost, insurance, and freight. And what that means is the price includes the physical product, the cost to ship it to whichever port, and also the insurance cost of insuring that product and shipment on that particular deal. So in case anything happened to the ship or the product during delivery, insurance will pay for it if you receive insurance ahead of time. And usually you can achieve insurance through the freight forwarder. And so CIF means that the price that's given from the supplier to the buyer includes the product, the shipping, and the insurance. Next, we have the 20-foot container, and this is the standard container used internationally for shipping. And I'm sure you've seen it many times in movies and on TV shows. It's the orange container over here, and you can see a bunch of them loaded on a ship over here. And that is how products are shipped internationally. It's an international standard. Next, we have the 40-foot container. That's another common container size. And as you can imagine, it's double the size of the 20-foot container. And this is just another common container size, although the vast majority of buyers and suppliers use 20-foot containers. Next is FCL, or full container load. And this is the amount of any specific product that would fill a standard 20-foot container. So for example, ordering 1 FCL, or full container load of lentils, is the same as ordering 23 tons of lentils, because 23 tons of lentils fit in one 20-foot container. Next, we have bulk, and this means that the purchased product, or the product that the supplier is supplying, is not provided in any packaging. The supplier will simply fill a container full of the raw product. So the product will not be placed in 50 kilogram or 100 kilogram bags. It will simply be dumped into a container. And this is very common in the agriculture industry. Next is BOL, or bill of lading. And this is basically a receipt provided by a shipping company indicating that a product has been shipped. So when you want to ship a product to another place and it's boarded on the vessel or boarded onto the ship and it's sent over, you get a bill of lading or a receipt that says that you have shipped the product. And that's important when making deals later on to prove that you have fulfilled your end of the agreement and shipped your product. Next is the ocean bill of lading, and that is just a bill of lading that's used when you ship by sea or by boat. And then there is an airway bill, which is a bill of lading used when shipping by air. They all mean the same thing, but an ocean bill refers to shipments made by sea, and an airway bill refers to shipments made by air. Now, a consignee is the person or company that will receive the shipment. So when you see a bill of lading, there will be a section for the consignee, and that is just the person or company that will receive the shipment. And then certificate of origin. And this is a certificate declaring the country of origin of a product. So this is just a certification saying that your lentils came from Canada, for example, or your teff came from Ethiopia. And this is required by customs.